Welcome along to the Digital Landlord number 4 in association with Movebubble, and I'm joined by Logan from Movebubble. And Logan, today I thought it'd be interesting if we talked about collaboration and connectedness, because landlords are now more connected than ever before in the history of humankind, and it's important that I think they see the benefits of this.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, I think we're all more connected than we've ever been in history. And I mean, if we kind of look at the rental market in general, going back as far as the manorial system, the feudal system, we had kind of landlords and tenants. The access to information for tenants was non-existent. And then we kind of had some social changes. We had sort of the Magna Carta coming in. All the way up to kind of more recent legislation, sort of like the Tenants Act and the need for the AST, etc., etc. And I think, kind of with the age of the internet, what happened is we went from this paper classified search into online classified search. So the likes of Gumtree, the likes of Loot, etc. here in the UK, and that for the first time gave access to information for renters. That they didn't have. And then kind of moving one step forwards, we then had sites such as Rightmove and Zoopla, which are very, very clever advertising technology platforms. Ultimately, that's kind of what they are. But again, there was more access to information for both the agents and the renters. And I think really kind of now where we're seeing is, mobile adoption is, it's done. I'm here, everybody's got this either in their pocket or on their desk. Everybody's connected 24 hours a day, and I think kind of the internet really opened up access to information. And I think now what we're seeing is people are beginning to share information with one another. So you're right insofar as saying landlords are connected to landlords, but I think the most important distinction here is that landlords can and should be connected to renters and vice versa. And those connections will enable them to gauge their own performance, like, am I a good landlord? Am I getting good interactions with my renters, and vice versa. So I think this is this kind of collaborative space that we're seeing emerge across multiple industries, whether it's the Airbnbs of this world, the Ubers, the Movebubbles, etc. So it's definitely the collaborative customer is something that we've coined internally at this end, which is, we want to help people collaborate on the task at hand.
I totally agree, and I think what's interesting is that the majority of landlords watching this are probably what I would call analog landlords. They have been brought up with an analog mindset, and I can understand that the transition to a digital mindset could be a challenge, but what those analog landlords must remember is that their tenants are already digitally minded. They're digital natives. It's second nature to them. They expect these digital tools, don't they? They want to see the transparency afforded by these digital platforms and tools.
Absolutely. I mean, you could order a pizza online maybe a couple of years ago. You can now book a viewing online using Movebubble on your phone. So ultimately, I think this is kind of where people have to understand, and I think property owners and landlords have really got to understand who their market is here. Who do they want to live in their home? And I'm going to take a stab in the dark here. Get me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure they want the best renters living in their home. And the best renters are young professionals. They're busy people. They don't want to spend a lot of time with paperwork. They don't want to spend a lot of time on the phone. They want to do things right here or on their desktop. And they want landlords who respond and value their reputation online. And I mean, it's interesting you say that a lot of the people that are listening to this are probably analog. I doubt they're that analog because they're on property tribes. And I think one of the beautiful things with property tribes is that we've gone from the classified sites, we've gone to the portals, and now we've got big forums of people educating one another. And like property tribes, hats off if I had one. You guys are educating an entire market space about the digital world, and we're lucky enough to be part of that. And we're just one of the tools that landlords can use to make that transition. And it's our job to make that as easy as we can for the landlords. Don't get me wrong. If we make it complex, it probably won't work. But you're absolutely right. Our job is in pairing these digital renters with the slightly analog, slightly digital landlord, and trying to make that interaction good, and trying to help them give one another feedback. So it's absolutely about kind of connectivity and access to information. I think that's what we see at this end.
No, I totally agree with you, and I think that previous ways of finding tenants, sort of non-digital ways or analog ways, they will start to diminish in respect of the responses that they received. And I think as we move forward, the responses from the digital spaces is going to increase. And if you are a landlord, you are running a business, and you do need to find your clients. So therefore you have to speak your client's language, and you have to go to where your client is hanging out. And there is no doubt about it that it's online.
100%. Yeah. I mean, I've just come off of as a youth marketing strategy 2-day seminar, and the whole point is that these kids they're not moving mobile. They were born on a mobile phone. They were born on a tablet. And they're now coming of age, and they're now coming into the rental market. These are the kids that are changing the world with new amazing businesses, new technologies. These are, they're driving big tech organizations. They're driving. They're kind of the young managers who are taking the reins at the organizations that pay well. And these are the kids that you want living in your property, right? They've got a stable job, they've got a stable income, and they'll pay you. And this is where they are. They are online. So I think that landlords have to understand this, and they really have to step up to the mark. Otherwise, they're going to get left behind. This is what worries me. I think is that if they don't adopt this, 3 years is probably too late from now. If you're not active online, you're not going to have had the opportunity to build a reputation, which means you probably won't get the rental inquiries needed to run a business.
I think you're absolutely right, and I think we should finish by saying that the transparency of the web actually rewards the reputable operators within the private rented sector, that you can be seen to have built a rental reputation as a landlord. And one of my hopes is that the new digital and tech will go some way to helping good landlords to hook up with good tenants, and
Absolutely.
that the guys that won't be transparent are going to fall behind, and they will eventually hook up with the bad tenants, and they'll cancel each other out. And I think technology can go a long way to raising standards in the private rented sector for everybody.
I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, it is, we started off by talking about access to information. If you have access to information about a good landlord, it's a thumbs up. If there is no information about a landlord, that makes me worry. And this is the reputation, the reputation piece. This is the access to information that, it's there, it's happening. It's happened in other industries, property, rental market. It's here. So it's a fascinating space to be in. It really is.
It is. So we'll just conclude there. Thanks ever so much for joining us, Logan. And I think, don't be afraid of digital and tech. It's there for your benefit. And, if you go to Property Tribes and Movebubble and the other social spaces, you'll find many different ways and discussions to help you get traction on those sites and understand to use them and get the most out of them. So really interesting conversation. Thank you, Logan.
No worries.